If you keep chasing short-term pleasure, you basically end up robbing yourself of creating the life that you desire. This is really important because a lot of people choose the route of immediate gratification because it feels good, right? It feels good to constantly be chasing short-term pleasure, to be spending your weekends going to bars, getting drunk, or smoking a ton of weed, or doing drugs, or partying, or just not being that, forward thinking with your time. And a lot of people fall victim to this mentality because, there's that whole idea of you only live once, so since your life is short, you may as well make the most of it. But people think that making the most of it means just enjoying all of it by creating or pursuing short-term pleasure. But I actually don't really believe this route leads to life being more enjoyable for most people. There's this kind of interesting concept in psychology where we tend to find the most enjoyment, fulfillment, and happiness out of meaningful things, not pursuing short-term pleasure, which, sounds good in theory, sounds fun, but quite often when people are chasing short-term pleasure, they're doing so as a form of escapism. There's something in their life that they don't quite enjoy, and sometimes, quite often, can even be themselves. They don't like themselves, so they're trying to cope with those feelings by chasing short-term pleasure. So if you shift your thinking and start planning for the future and pursuing the life that you desire instead of chasing short-term pleasure, you'll probably actually end up happier further down the road, because now your life will have meaning. You're working towards something, and that is a meaningful pursuit. You are creating long-term goals and then making sacrifices to get there. See, here's the thing. No matter what we do in life, we pretty much are always making sacrifices. There's always an opportunity cost behind our time. We're spending our time in the ways that we choose, which means there are plenty of other things we're missing out on because we're not spending our time doing those things. So if you spend all your time chasing short-term pleasure, you're basically sacrificing the future because you're never setting aside time to work towards the life that you desire. You're always choosing to just have fun instead. So that means further down the road, at some point you'll stop and realize, hey, I'm not where I wish to be in life because I spent all this time just having fun, enjoying myself, but now I have nothing to show for it because I never saved money, I never worked towards the career goals I have, I never worked towards the life goals I have, or creating a family, owning a home, that sort of thing. So it really is in your best interest to sacrifice short-term pleasure to create long-term goals, or to create more so the life that you desire, because you're always going to be sacrificing something. That short-term pleasure, you can always find ways to enjoy yourself even while you're working towards creating the life that you desire. People so often act like life is binary. If you're sacrificing the present for the future, then you're not enjoying the present. Or if you're sacrificing well, it doesn't really work in the opposite way, because if you sacrifice the future for the present, yeah, you'll be enjoying yourself, but you'll have nothing to show for it further down the road. But yeah, people act like you can't make those sacrifices. You can't sacrifice enjoyment in the here and now and still work towards what you want in the future. But there's a way you can balance the two. And I found in my own life, one of the easiest ways to balance them is just to learn to be more present in life, to just take time to pause every now and then and just become present, to just take in your surroundings and enjoy being alive, existing as a human being on planet Earth. That doesn't even mean that you have to be doing anything entertaining or fun. It just means existing in the here and now, just looking around, taking things in. One thing I actually really like to do is go for walks. I try to do a walk Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, because Tuesdays and Thursdays are my gym days, so I'm spending my time doing that. But I like to go out somewhere that I find beautiful and just walk and be fully present in the moment, to just spend time looking at nature. Quite often my favorite place right now is the one where I can walk along the ocean, and I'll spend quite a few moments where I just stop walking, turn, and just look at the ocean, just watch it for minutes on end, and I love it. I'll just be watching birds diving in and out of the water, or dolphins doing their fun little jumps out of the in between the waves, and I'll just be taking it all in, taking in the sunset. Those are ways where you can create enjoyment in the here and now, where you're not really kind of pursuing short-term pleasure, but you're still finding meaning in what you're doing. And that's something all of us can do. Like, we can all find time to just be present in the moment. So I would say that's a far more meaningful thing to include in your routine while still working towards the life that you desire. You just got to balance these things out. I would say, if you want to boil it down to like percentages, it's probably wise to spend about like maybe 80% of your time creating the life that you desire or working towards it, and then about 20% of your time enjoying being alive in the here and now. Because while that may sound like a lot of work to many of you, working towards the life you desire doesn't always mean that like you're actually physically working. Like, it can literally just mean you're figuring out what the hell you want in the future. That to me is one of the most important parts of figuring out the life that you want, right? Just knowing what you want to work towards. Like, that's not a physical thing where you're like slaving away at the desk and punching in numbers for your company or whatever. That's just you taking the time to be conscious about what you even want in life, and then figuring out where you want to live, what you want to be doing 5 to 10 years from now, that sort of thing. All of those are important. And then once you have an idea of what you want, just take small steps to get you there. Even if it means taking some random job just to make money so that you can support yourself, but you know that that job is not where you want to be in the future. It's just a stepping stone. It's not somewhere you have to stay. It's just, it's a building block to get you to where you want to be in life. Just make sure you don't choose to go the route of constantly partying and just wasting. I know that like parties are fun. We know that, right? But you don't want to be spending all of your time partying, or even anywhere near a lot of time partying. Sure, it's fun in the here and now, but you're not working on solving any of your problems. You're not working on your insecurities or getting to a place where you love yourself more. You're kind of just escaping for a little bit. So while I'm not saying that like you should never party, just be conscious about how you choose to spend your time. I would say, rather than constantly pursuing short-term pleasure and being the default state for you, set aside time, like actually plan time to do things that you enjoy, that are fun to you. Because that way, you'll literally have planned it, like you'll have set aside time for that activity so that you can then go do it, but you're ensuring that you're not constantly just only doing those sorts of things your entire life, where then, 5 to 10 years further down the road, you'll stop and say, I haven't made any progress. I'm a 30-year-old or a 35-year-old that has nothing to show for it. You do not want to end up in that boat. So, I mean, at the same time, like, you're never truly screwed, like you're never truly stuck in life, because as long as you're still alive, you have time to turn things around. But there are plenty of older people who can tell you that they probably wish they would have spent their youth a bit differently, because that's time where you can kind of get away with experimenting and making mistakes, and it's not the end of the world. But as you get older, it just becomes a bit more difficult to do that. So while everyone likes to say you should enjoy your youth and spend all of it like just pursuing short-term pleasure, I take the opposite stance and say you should be using that time to figure out what the hell you want in life and working towards it, because now you don't have a crap ton of responsibilities weighing you down. If you choose to go that short-term pleasure route, you could end up making a lot of decisions that you regret. You could be hopping into relationships with the wrong people. You could be surrounding yourself with friends who aren't good influences on you. You could end up doing drugs and other things that could mess up your health in the long term. So just be very careful, guys. Like, make time to enjoy your life. Just don't make that the main thing that you do, because you really want to be working towards something, anything. Just make sure you have an idea of the future you desire, and then just start walking towards it. Do not constantly be chasing short-term pleasure. But anyway, I truly hope you understood what I'm getting at in this video. I hope this is, I don't want to say it's like a wake-up call. I hope it's not a wake-up call for any of you, but if need be, if you need to hear these words, if you need to realize that you currently aren't on the right path, then I hope this is helpful, because it's just, time is finite, guys. Like, we really should be pursuing things that are meaningful to us, because that is where the most happiness and fulfillment comes from. Escaping your problems by chasing short-term pleasure does not lead to happiness and fulfillment. You may feel good for a short period of time, a temporary period of time, but that's it. Like, once the moment's gone, you're going to feel right back to the way you felt before. Your problems are going to be at the forefront of your mind, your insecurities, the fact that you don't quite like who you are. So instead of chasing short-term pleasure, just create a more meaningful life. Work on your insecurities. Work on being able to love and accept yourself as you are, so you don't feel this need to escape from the way you feel about yourself and to escape from your problems. Just be more proactive, be more conscious. But that's pretty much all I wanted to share in this video. So I truly hope that you guys enjoyed this one. If you like content like this, be sure to subscribe for more. Otherwise, the easiest way you can help me out is just to throw a like and a comment on the video for the algorithm. And I'll leave you with this. Remember, guys, we're all on this journey together. The most important thing is that you just keep going, keep moving forward, and keep working on creating the life that you desire. And don't try to keep chasing short-term pleasure. While it may feel good in the moments that you're doing that, further down the road, you may end up with a lot of regrets. So just try to avoid that by being as conscious about your life as possible. But anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. Arrivederci!